Flame on! How's everybody doing tonight? I'm here with my special guest, Taladia Plays. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. And what a stream we've got for you tonight, guys.
Indeed.
And and let me tell you this, guys. There's a lot we got to be covering for Sparking Zero. I have already got the announcement trailer set up and ready for us. But we're going to be talking about gameplay. We're going to be talking about the trailer. We're going to be talking about the release date. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things, and we'll be talking about the Wonder Woman game. So if you are here for that, stay tuned till the end because we are going to be covering that.
And this is going to be a long and action-packed show, everybody. So relax, get comfortable, have some snacks,
Get some
and
popcorn.
and enjoy the show. But before we move forward, I would like to request at least one more moment of silence for Benny and Comic Storian. Thank you. And
All right, let me full screen this for you
okay,
guys. All right, you guys ready?
ready.
Let me just put the volume down a little bit, like you requested. There we go. 3, 2, 1. Is the audio good?
Yep.
A test of power. I guess we'll see.
Autonomous Ultra Instinct.
Okay.
Goku Black.
Okay, bringing the Ozaru back. All right.
You into a million pieces, just like I did that. You talking about thrilling? Don't you? Enough with the hell.
Margin Vegeta.
Are you ready? Well, the way you slice it, there's one way to save her. Bye, my friends. No matter what it takes, I need to
Look at this.
Goku, wait!
I was waiting for this. Oh no.
Forgive me for this. Now you will suffer my wrath.
New possibilities in the story.
You are a prisoner.
Okay.
What's
Okay.
the scenario?
The true form of autonomous ultra is my turn. Change everything, let's move. This is nothing.
They're going all out with this.
No way.
Woo.
October 11th. And this is what you get for the pre-order. You get Gogeta, Super Saiyan Gogeta, Super Saiyan Blue, Broly, the Super Saiyan Broly, Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. And
Oh, and a mystery playable character.
this is where you get the premium.
Which I believe is $99.99 USD for the Ultimate Edition.
No, 100, over $100.
Oh, thank you, Pikachu. Thank you.
Over $100 for this game, right? And this is for the diorama and everything. It's $229.
Not gonna lie, did not expect that.
But if you get the Ultimate Edition, you'll get the Season Pass, which is this Dragon Ball Superhero, and you get Dragon Ball Daima, and you get the Season Pass 1 to 3, and then you also get Super Senran you can summon.
Interesting. But now we're gonna react to all the available trailers so far, or at least without getting taken down. Taladia, you want to screen share this one, or you want me to take over?
Well, there's an hour's worth of gameplay if you want to watch the hour's worth of gameplay.
Sure. We'll get as far as we can, and feel free to add to comments, whether any personal stories on Comic Storian, any questions you have for us, just feel free. And Dave the Impaler says, "Oh, might get that statue. I have the Z Fighters Collector's Edition." Nice.
Yes, Dave. All right, let me just make sure.
Okay.
All right, this is
a full demo.
Full demo, yeah.
All right.
In Japanese, I'm afraid.
Of course.
Oh,
This was
there it is. It's in English.
oh.
It was in English.
Okay, you got
Japanese. Bergamo.
どっちが強いかな。
仕方ないな。
Oh, hold on. This is
俺
the.
様が
this is
Hold on.
Spanish.
Yeah, let me find you an English one.
Technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your beloved contribution, Tevia Smolka.
Sparking.
But while we're waiting on that, I believe the last official game to have what if scenarios was Raging Blast 2. That was the last Dragon Ball Z game to directly have what if scenarios.
Okay, so this is 40. Is that this is Japanese?
Yeah, a lot of them you're going to find in Japanese, but there might be English
this is it.
subtitles.
I think this is English. There's a lot of these are going to be in thing.
Yeah, these are a lot of these are reactions to the gameplay.
Yeah.
Okay.
need-
No commentary.
Hold on. No commentary. English.
Never change, Dave. Never change.
What did he say? I can't see what he's saying because I'm searching up.
I'll leave it. I'll leave it up. It's at the 9 minute. It's at the 8 minute and 40-second mark.
All right, so there's some 10-minute gameplay if you want to watch it.
Sure.
All right, we'll go here first.
Okay.
All right, this is 20 minutes of gameplay. So share this tab. Okay.
Let's see how tough you are, shall we?
There we go.
Promise to do my best.
Now to show you the overwhelming power of a super elite Saiyan.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. Okay.
What do you think?
Gameplay's pretty smooth so far.
End of Z. This is the end of Z, Goku.
Yeah, he's done. The shadowing was a nice, real attention to detail. The shadowing, the flow.
Yeah. This is Gohan.
Yep.
This is Kid Gohan, by the way, not Super Teen Gohan. This is Kid.
Thank you for clearing that up, Taladia.
All right, let me see what
Okay.
let me see what Dave the Impaler said.
I hated that move as a kid.
Yes.
It has no block.
Yeah, it's the end of Z Goku Tavia. He has the halo at the end of Z. Towards the end of Z, mid.
Boo Saga Goku.
Yeah, Buu Saga. So, by the way, this is Gohan.
They really try to give you the flow of a Budokai Tenkaichi game.
And
Now,
you got
granted-
brother Kamehameha.
Nice. Now, granted, in the official Japanese release, the titles were a bit different, but most of us know them as Budokai Tenkaichi.
Yeah. Super Saiyan Blue. Garlic Gun. Super Saiyan.
Man. Oh, Super Vegeta.
Yeah, Super Vegeta. By the way, there's different move sets for each individual transformation.
Oh, so they got separate character slots. They're not strictly transformations.
So for each character's when they transform, it'll be a different
Moveset. Okay.
different attacks you can do. For example, end of Z, if you're Super Saiyan 3, you can use the Dragon Fist. In the Super one, there's no Dragon Fist.
Hmm.
This is Krillin. You can show Destructor this.
Solar
I'll just
flare.
Solar Flare. Let me just show you. I know you're eager to see something else. Bergamo. Oh, let me show you. Let me show you this. This is Beerus gameplay. And Bergamo. What do you think?
This confirms super characters are going to be included.
Yep, super characters are confirmed to be in it. No confirmation of GT or movies characters.
Yeah, I would expect super characters to make the base slot. Maybe movie characters get the DLC. As for GT characters, the most likely ones are going to be Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Vegeta, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, and Omega. I cannot see anyone else from GT getting a slot other than those 5.
Maybe Omega Shenron and the Shadow Dragons, maybe, but that's pretty much it.
But Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta did get a slot in Fighter Z, so
maybe
Or is it-
DLC.
yeah, but not in the base game. Definitely not in the base game.
Oh, by the way, there is fusion, so you can do fusion on here. So, like, fusion.
I get it.
Let me show you more. This is Super Saiyan Blue.
All that uncontrolled rage is such a waste. Try to control your energy. I bet I can teach you.
Okay.
Destructible environments.
I'm sorry. I'm just overwhelmed by nostalgia right now.
I knew you'd be excited about this. That's why this is a special stream.
Okay. I see they're using the super design.
Yep, Super for Trunks. They've also got the Z version as well.
Okay, that was what I was gonna ask if they had both.
Yeah, they had both. But also there is there is battle damage. So there's like 3 or 4 levels of battle damage. So as you can see, this is Berta, I believe.
His move set is one of the most aggressive in the entire. Just by every Z game. If you actually play Berta in versus mode, you're gonna have a rough time.
Yeah. The good thing is there will be 5v5, so you'll be able to have five characters versus 5 characters, local and multiplayer.
They even brought back the rage mode from Raging Blast.
It's a mixture of Raging Blast and Budokai Tenkaichi.
Budokai. 2 of the most successful video game series for Dragon Ball. Now, granted, Burst Limit had potential. Let us know in the comment what was your favorite Dragon Ball Z game and why. Burst Limit had potential, but it was ultimately a standalone. It never got a sequel. I believe it was released around the same time as the Cell Saga. and the Broly movie.
For me, it was, for me, Kakarot was my favorite game. Story wise, fighting game has to be. I did try Fighter Z, but it's a bit complex.
Yeah, it's pretty much Battle Royale or Smash Brothers, but with Dragon Ball characters.
No, no, no. Fighter Z. If you know what I mean, Jay.
Yeah, I remember Fighter Z.
Yeah, that was like, even though it's 2D, it was really difficult to control the characters. 3v3. This is literally more arena fighting, and I think a lot more people will have more fun out of this than fighters.
Definitely more than what Battle of Z. Excuse me. Definitely more than what Battle of Z was, because I don't even know what that game was.
Mind you, this is made in Unreal Engine, by the way.
Yeah, this is. I can tell. I can definitely tell. Now, for me, Budokai Tenkaichi will always have a place in my heart because of the experience of the versus battles on multiplayer and with my brothers.
Yeah.
But this definitely does live up. It does take elements from other games, so I'm not going to be a purist about it. It does take elements from other games.
All right. So there's one. Let me just make sure. This is.
Oh, Attack of the Saiyans. What? Okay, that game. Okay, that's strictly based on Kai's version. Okay, not gonna lie, a lot of people thought that game was gonna flop. A lot of people thought that game was gonna flop because it's just a retelling of the Saiyan saga on handheld. But it was surprisingly good.
So this is Super Goku versus Frieza. You can do Kamehameha, of course, and you can turn Super Saiyan. And Frieza turning in gold.
Now, do we know that if this is going to be a definitive story mode or?
Yes, there will be story mode.
Because I only saw the what ifs, at least online.
No, there will be what ifs, but as well there will be story mode.
Okay.
So you can see, you can do fusion. Super Saiyan. What do you think?
Whew. It's smooth. A little too smooth.
Super Saiyan Blue transformation. Stardust Breaker.
Nice.
Media explosion. He's trying for.
Now, one of the things I hate about Xenoverse 2, transformations ate your stamina. That's the one thing I hate. That's the one thing I hated from Xenoverse 2.
This does drain your ki when you're moving around, I believe. But it doesn't drain your Super Saiyan status. Full force Kamehameha. What do you think?
Nice.
And Trunks doing a Super Saiyan Rage, I believe.
Not gonna lie, I did not expect it to look like that.
And you can do the Sword of Hope as well. There you go. The Sword of Hope. Just like in Super.
In all honesty, I prefer the Z version of Trunks better. I don't say that because of nostalgia. It's just an objective fact.
Big Bang Attack.
A lot of detail in the destruction, not gonna lie. A lot of detail.
I don't share Kakarot's taste for forgiveness.
Go back to hell.
Vegeta, you talk so grandly for a lowly monkey.
Quick disclaimer, that is racist.
Yeah. Look at that. Vegeta's costume is already damaged.
You do have limited health, not gonna lie.
Yeah, you get limited health for this.
That's probably the one nitpick I see in this game so far. Limited health. But even the Tenkaichi games had this problem, so.
Yeah.
Not just going to roll over.
As you can see, destruction of Namek.
It's so detailed. Usually you just get a wide shot at the destruction, but oh my god.
There's no gameplay for Go. Well, there's no gameplay of Go Tanks yet,
Other than the fusion trailer.
other than the fusion trailer. Yeah.
Now, quick question for the chat. What was your favorite arc in Super and why? I will admit the Goku Black / Future Trunks arc did save
this.
Super from cancellation, but it had a lackluster ending. I'm sorry, that ending cannot be salvaged, even with the Tournament of Power setup. That was just a poor ending all across the board.
Oh, by the way, the left gorge will actually help you tell you transformations and everything.
Nice.
When you see level up from 2 to 3.
Let's do this.
Vegeta, let's do this.
Now, you want to know a character I would like make the DLC? Pycon.
Pycon, yeah, definitely Pycon.
He does not get enough love. He's technically a Piccolo clone, but hey, he's movie exclusive. He's
Look at this.
/movie exclusive.
Go straight into Super Saiyan Blue from base.
Okay.
And you can clash.
Nice. I take it fusions don't get battle damage.
No, there's no battle damage.
Something tells me Broly's going to be a tank.
He is.
And welcome to the chat, Cameron. But yeah, a lot of that was because the powers that be were riding off nostalgia with the premiere of Super. Vegeta got regressed. Goku was made into a man-child.
Look at this, look at this. He does the spinny kick thing.
But that's because. But even then, especially if you've actually read the manga, you realize that Goku's not really depicted in the manga as he is in the original DBZ anime. The DBZ anime gave Goku a lot of Superman elements to him.
Yeah.
Hence the constant comparison between the two. As for Super Goku, he was more manga based, but slightly toned down for the younger
Meet
demographic.
the explosion. Here we go. Look at this.
Nice. This is just a recreation of the movie.
Exactly.
I was just stronger.
And that is, I believe, what We have currently. I mean, there is the Ultimates, but I don't want to steal it from somebody else's video without
Yeah,
commenting.
yeah.
You can look it up online, you guys. So
Oh yeah, I low key hate how the anime made Goku Superman like. I guess they did that for marketability reasons, especially with Toonami and the dub internationally. But but yeah, that's neither here or there. But Taladia, what do you think of the game so far? I really think if there's one nitpick about this game is the limited health and online slash
th-
multiplayer. I feel like that's
this
going to be
this game is going to be off the charts. You'll be
oh, it's
sure.
going to make bank. It's going to sell gangbusters. I'm not refuting that. But if there was one mechanical flaw with this game, it's the limited roster and maybe online if they don't get the kinks right off the gate. Maybe online
The
mode.
thing, this thing, right? The thing is with this game, what's really appealing for me is the fact that destructible environments, the battle damage, the graphics is just out of this world, right? Plus, as well, like yes, the dubs for this game is really cool. So, and here's the thing: you can make a what if scenario, and
It-
you could post it.
online and actually it is not just a what if segment. Previous games had I hate to cut you off, Taladia, but previous games had a full what if segment for their scenarios, like what if Raditz turned good when not the Masako X there, or Vegeta getting Super Saiyan 3, Broly getting Super Saiyan 3, future Trunks
Yeah.
and present Trunks interacting. That was the biggest what if for the longest time. I believe both Raging Blast and Raging Blast 2 did that one.
This one, you could actually post this stuff online, and all your friends can play it. Well, your what if scenario.
Yeah. Now, from what we know, we only know two specific divergences: the Raditz fight, which is a byproduct of the Saiyan saga as a whole, and
Yeah.
the father-son final flash in the Cell saga. Those are the
And there's the Super Saiyan before meeting Frieza.
yes, but I believe that's an extension of the what if branching from Goku
Saiyan
confronting Raditz alone.
No, that is confronting Vegeta.
I thought that was okay. That's a separate branch off. Okay, I was just going by the trailer when I saw that.
No, Xenoverse 2 did a completely different thing, Tevia. Xenoverse 2 was like the thing is with Xenoverse 2, you had to
Prevent alterations made
you
by the
prevent
time breakers.
alteration. Yeah, you had to prevent alterations. This you can make alterations.
Which was a unique way that made the Xenoverse series stand out. But
So
this
for example, there could be an option for maybe Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, maybe.
Especially if we get a rendition of Battle of Gods in the My Bulma scene, you could branch out to where Vegeta goes complete. Well, I'm not gonna complete ape shit. Just go, hey, I'm gonna get the God form right after this. Screw it. Let's just go 3.
What did he do to my Bulma?
Perfect opportunity to give Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Perfect opportunity. I get they couldn't do it due to animation constraints, especially since One Piece Gold was in post-production at the time. But man, wasted opportunity.
This game, I'm telling you now, guys, I'm going to be streaming it on Twitch. I'm not going to stream it on YouTube because of copyright reasons.
Yeah. If you decide to play this game or know a content creator play this game, I recommend just going straight via Twitch. Don't post it on YouTube. It's not worth it. Not this soon. Wait a couple months. Super is basically one big nostalgia fest for Dragon Ball fans, and I'm okay with that. It feels good entertainment and expanded the verse a lot. True, I would easily agree to that, Dave the Impaler. I'm not going to take that from you. But there's go ahead, Taladia.
Here's what I'll say, right? This Dragon Ball game is going to take you out of this world, right? There's going to be over 230 characters within this game. Think about it, 200 characters in the base game alone. And then you got the season pass, you got Dragon Ball Superhero content, and you've got the Dragon Ball Daima content, which is an extra 20 to 30 characters. And then you got the season passes too, 1, 2, and 3.
You do, and you get a mystery. And depending on which version you get a mystery playable character right out the gate.
Yeah.
Now, my money's on Omega Shenron because Omega Shenron would go crazy in this game.
Could this be our last game? Not really, Cameron. I don't think so.
No, but I get what he's coming from. I don't think we're gonna. This is a storm situation to where you end up getting like 4 or 5 releases. This is just bringing the Budokai Tenkaichi series back is just what the Dragon Ball IP and the Dragon Ball room needed to boost momentum, especially in relation to Toriyama's death. This is
Yeah.
exactly what the brand needed, ultimately.
And plus, on top of that, here's another thing too. There will be cross promotion for Daima and
At the same time,
Sparking Zero, so it's kind of, I would say, good timing. Mind you, this has been in development for about 4 years.
why do you think we ended up with 20 Xenoverse 2 DLCs? Like the
4 ye-
main shelf life of the game ended in 2018, and they delayed it by almost 4 to 6 years for Sparking Zero.
Sparking Zero was in development from 2020 and 2019, I believe. So
Okay, I thought it
roundabout,
was 2018. My mistake.
no, so 2019, 2020, right?
Right.
That's what, according to interviews. The thing is, the way Daima will be in the game regardless, Tavia. There will be Daima content in the game. There's already pre-orders. I don't know if you saw the pre-order bonuses or whatever. That's what's going to be in the game. Daima stuff. So you are going to get the super content. You are going to get the Z content. You are going to get stuff that for Dragon Ball Daima, but you're going to get stuff newer than you haven't seen before, right?
Which
And
really is just the chubby, the cute, basically
No.
the little kid designs.
And Tevia,
I'm not
no,
gonna. Hold
Tevia,
on.
no.
No.
Tevia, no, Tevia, no.
Daima is completely standalone. It's an anniversary special, and it's completely standalone. It's basically Yo Son Goku and Friends Return from 2008. It's completely standalone.
It won't. No, it won't affect the story mode in Dragon Ball's Sparking Zero. It
It's
won't
its own
affect it.
property. It's its
Its
own
own.
thing.
It's its own thing. The only thing we're getting from that is characters within the web series or whatever. We're getting those characters to come into the video game.
Yes, but it
That's
will
what
not
it is.
affect the story mode whatsoever. For
Yeah.
all we know, Daima is just a web series / self-contained OVA special. We have no real details on Daima at this time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like an anniversary type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not in the story.
No, you will not be able to play the Daima story. No.
No.
At least not in this game. If we do get something Daima related, it's probably going to be a spin-off game or characters slotted over in DLC.
Yeah. The only thing I'll say though is Dragon Ball fans are going to be eating good across the board. In video games, especially in video games, because you got fighters, well not fight, well you got fighters rollback, technically. You've also got Xenoverse 2 content, literally. They are doing more content for that. And you've got Kakarot, which they're going to have more DLCs popping off at the end of the year, I believe. End of the year, beginning of next year, right?
Right.
So, Dragon Ball will indeed have a lot of content across the board. For if you're a story guy, if you like into the story gameplay, you just want the story, then Dragon Ball Z Kakarot would be the way to go forward. If you're into the fighting game genre, Fighter Z, would you be able to you could either play Fighter Z or Sparking Zero. That's no problem. You got that option. And then if you're huge into what if scenarios and preventing it, then Xenoverse 2 is the way to go. Right? You can play that with your friends.
Yeah,
right?
there are multiple styles. Even if now this is my personal opinion, you can take this as a hot take if you want, but I feel like Xenoverse has overstayed its welcome. Say what you will about cross promotion, the DLCs and the cross promotion for the Dragon Ball movies. I have nothing against that, but 20 DLCs.
Jay, here's the problem though. The Bandai Namco needs the money. at this
Yes,
point.
they're going through a lot of stocks and corporate stuff behind the scenes. I understand that. But with the amount of DLC and cross promotion you did over the course of 4.5 years, you could have done Xenoverse 3. The story mode doesn't have to be good because at the end of the day, it's still Dragon Ball and the Dragon Ball experience. So the story mode didn't even have to be that good. With the amount of DLC and coding you did for those extra 46 years, you could have done Xenoverse 3.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. That I get you want to preserve, it's more cost effective to keep what you already have, cut some corners here and there. But to let it go on for 4 to 6 years, at that point, you might as well just make Xenoverse 3. That's just my opinion on that.
But we'll have to wait and see what the state is for Xenoverse 3. Xenoverse 2. But I'm gonna say this though. When it comes down to Dragon Ball content, you have a lot across the board, and you are open to different ventures you want to go in, different directions you want to go in. Right?
Would you say new directions?
I see what you do there. And speaking of new direction, there will be a new direction verse from me and Jay Heat coming soon.
So stay tuned.
Yes.
But transitioning over to DC, if only I had that clip, Adam West clip on me. I believe we had some new. I believe we got some new news from Monolith.
Yes. We talked about this yesterday on my show, or the day before we talked about it on my show. But yeah, we're going to talk about the synopsis, right? Which basically Warner Brothers
Discovery.
Warner Brothers Discovery is taking down anyone that posts about the game.
So people actually have consequences for what they post. Ironic.
Yes. People like a good friend of mine, podcast now, actually his video got taken down, got a copyright strike.
We can't show visuals, but that doesn't mean we can't talk about it.
We're not going to go in depth into the synopsis. All we're going to say is Tevye, Warner Brothers screwed up, right? They screwed up big time when it comes down to this, because why go through its survey and then show a lot of details for the game?
Ooh. Massive business blunder. Massive business blunder. We're not gonna go into too much detail because again, copyright strike and we don't want the stream taken down. But let's just say Warner Brother WBD's gaming division is in major damage control right now.
It's in major damage control because they've taken down multiple Twitter handles that had the images up and whatnot. And furthermore, what makes it a lot harder now is that they have to say something. For Warner Brothers, they've got no choice now. They have to throw something at
Summer Game Fest.
Not Summer Game Fest, sorry, Gamescom. They've got Gamescom. They have to show something at this point now. Because you've got like this massive leak coming out, and then you basically copyright striking or DMCAing people for the fact of the Wonder Woman game, basically people showing it off, the concept arts and whatnot for that. And furthermore, like the thing is, this could have been a positive note for them if they kept it up, if they kept people's videos up, people's Twitter handles, people's tweets up, and let them have the images shown.
Now, contrary to popular belief, Tevye Smoker, there is a rumor going around that they are deadlocked because Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is a live service game. So they have to do at least a majority of those season pass contents.
Yeah, the season pass will continue for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. That's without a shadow of a doubt. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League will finish up at beginning of next year. But at the end of, basically, what Warner Brothers needs to do now is to start showing the Wonder Woman game. That, I said this on Twitter, right? I put out a tweet saying, you know what? After this leak, I guarantee, I'm sure Warner Brothers will have a trailer by the end of Gamescom.
Or at the very least, a teaser. At the very least.
No, not a teaser. It has to be a full-blown trailer at this point. You can't do a teaser trailer. That, mind you, the teaser trailer was like 3 years ago, Jay.
You're right. You're right. They did post a teaser in the 3 years ago. You did. It's about that time for a trailer.
It's about time that they say, okay, we've got a gameplay stroke story trailer for the game, and you start to show that, and then you can give people like a release window, whatever, right? A price tag,
Right.
and I
No,
think
this,
go on.
though this is what I'll say very briefly because I know it's going to come up in the chat. But Batman Arkham Shadow, going back to Batman, that was a decent business move considering where Warner Brothers Discovery is at right now. That was a decent business move. I wouldn't have made it VR exclusive, but that was a pretty decent business move to go back to
Mind
Batman,
you,
logistically speaking.
mind you, it's coming from a VR company, not a developer.
So it's off source strictly by this VR company, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, it's not done by, let's say, WB Montreal or Monolith or anything like that. This is coming from a Camouflage, the people who made the Iron Man VR game. So
Ooh, I remember that.
yeah, but it looks really cool though. Don't get me wrong, it's fully fledged free flow combat, predator takedown and whatnot. Like,
Logistically, quick. I hate to cut you off, Taladia, but I will answer your question right quick, Tevia. Logistically, yes, but that's the thing between single player and riding off the live service trend, even though it peaked 7 years ago, but that's neither here or there. But with live service, everything's coded in, everything's rendered in real time. You have to do it, especially with announcements and investors and distribution of assets. With single player, you could cut your losses anytime because at the end of the day, that's bonus content that's coded in after the fact. With live service, everything is rendered in real time.
like, I'll say this, right, Tevia. My stream hasn't been taken down because I did show the image, but I'm not gonna chance it to monetize it, right? I'm not monetizing that stream.
No, do not monetize that stream, man. No,
I'm not monetizing that. I'm not
monetizing.
monetizing that stream at all because I showed it. But I'll say this. I'll say this though, Tevia. They're gonna focus on Suicide Squad. They're gonna get the season pass done, 2, 3, and 4, and finish on 5, and then that's it. Everything will be focused on Wonder Woman afterwards.
But this game is still considered a consistent loss because you have to finish it before the end of the year. They're not going to finish it by the end of the fiscal year this August. It's just not going to be done by then. So they're going to take a hit.
No. So what they need to do now, because it's a smaller team that is working on Suicide Squad, they won't have there's no weekly development updates anymore. So what you're gonna get is, like, let's say every 3 months you get a new character, basically.
Okay.
Every 3 to 6 months. That's what the best case scenario for them, right? Yeah, it's run by Skeleton Crew. Yes, it's run by basically the people that have been told to stay behind and work on the game and just to finish the game off, basically, because they're going to focus on that single player game now. Rocksteady will, right? I don't know if you know this, Jay.
Right.
Rocksteady's working on a single player game after Suicide Squad, and it's not what we think it is. It's not going to be. It's not going to be another live service game.
Please tell me Wonder Woman is single player.
Yeah, Wonder Woman is single player. That's without a shadow of a doubt.
Thank God. No, seriously. There's a reason I say that. There is a very solid reason why I say this. Live service is mostly out of convenience and direct engagement. It relies solely on engagement and momentum and word of mouth. There is a reason you have like Overwatch and Apex because that's constant engagement with Fortnite even. And the demographic for that game is largely children to preteens. It's a completely different market. No, I'm gonna say what needs to be said. I'll say the quiet part out loud.
Take a breather. And I know you're a bit thinking of that, but you got to take a breather, man. Yes, I reckon so, Tevia. I reckon it'll just be a comic sort of thing for Suicide Squad Killer Justice League. There won't be like, because it's like you said, it's done by a Skeleton Crew. Nonetheless, for Suicide Squad, you might as well get rid of the banner, by the way.
My fault.
But like I said, the way I see it, WB needs to focus on Wonder Woman after Suicide Squad at this point. Um, Suicide Squad Killer Justice League will have its time, and then that's it. They're going to focus on Wonder Woman, and then after that, we're going to get WB Montreal's second game. I've been hearing, from a couple of people have been saying it's a DCU game, so it could be a DCU game. What we get from WB Montreal, but who knows? But I'll definitely once WB officially does a announcement for a what's it called? Officially announces the Wonder Woman gameplay story trailer, whatever. I'll do a reaction video and I'll do a stream where we just talk about it. So you bet that I will be doing something like that. But yeah, I just think the way things are going, it's really bad business from Warner Brothers right now. Don't you think, Jay?
Oh, all across the board. And I do want to apologize for that spiral that easily could have gone into a rant. But all I was mostly saying into that is how the live service trend is not as strong as it used to be. Let me actually say this with poise. The live service trend is not as strong as it used to be. So, and that's definitely evident. Now, I'm not going to go outright say Warner Brothers is out of touch. I'm not going to outright say that because I still want the stream to actually get some momentum. But there's a pattern here at this point. Stick to single player games, do standalones, no interconnected universe. I'm looking at you, James Gunn. There's nothing wrong with having synergy, but dragging video games into it is the stupidest thing you could possibly do logistically. There's just not enough time for it. You already have Zaslav cutting corners every chance he gets. It's just not worth your time. If you really want DCU to get off the ground, just focus on the movies and maybe a couple tie-in comics. That is your safest bet, objectively speaking.
Yeah.
Would you agree, Taladia?
It's hard to say because James Gunn is backed up on the fact that he's going to be doing gaming. He's backed her up, so. But the thing is, it doesn't need to be a movie tie-in game. It can be a game that's set before the events of the movie or after the events of the movie, and it still would make money, right? It won't be like how the old ways were, where you got a movie tie-in when the movie comes out.
Okay.
It won't be like that because that's not what I believe. That's not what James Gunn is probably going to go for. I think what he'll do is he'll have his Superman movie come out, right? And then what we'll get is James Gunn's DCU game, right? And that will come out either after or before the movie, right? And you'll get people excited, right?
Right.
But like I said, guys, when it comes down to the way Warner Brothers is handling things right now, it's not looking good. Tevia, they didn't technically do that. The Spider-Man games were tie-in games.
They were.
And they were set. They were set a time frame for a tie-in game.
They did not release around the time the movie came out. That is true. But at the same time, they were not, okay, let's just ride off the momentum for synergy purposes. No. They didn't even adapt the movies, really. They were relatively standalone, most of them.
Yeah, and here's the thing, though, Tevia. Amazing Spider-Man 2, yes, I know what you're trying to say. Oh, yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Amazing Spider-Man. They were like continuations from the movies. Not really, because it just didn't feel like it, right?
No.
It just didn't feel like it at all. The way DC is going to do it is they're going to do that it is connected to the movie and it is connected to TV shows and it is going to make sense because that's how Warner Brothers is. They want to make it synergy. They want to make it so the brand is on point, and that's how they see it now. They're not going to go, oh, well, we want to make sure. Let's say, for example, you got an Arkham movie coming out, right? Batman Arkham movie, right? And then straight after that, you got another Arkham game coming out, and it's gone off course. The game is completely off course. It doesn't interconnect with anything.
The only one I could really see that where it was pure synergy or where you had to rely on a specific plot point was the Ultimate Spider-Man video game that came out around the same time as He Who Shall Not Be Named's run during the Ultimate Universe. And you had to have played that game to understand one specific plot point in that run. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm not going to spoil it, even if it is a 15 to 20-year-old game. But that was only for one specific plot point, not the run itself.
Yeah.
What James Gunn is trying to do is pure synergy all across the board. Although there's nothing wrong with that, including video games, at least compared to where myself, Taladia, and even Jared to a degree grew up in during that time of video games, that business model would be too ambitious. But maybe he can find a workaround now. Maybe a looser story based on the film or just before it. There might be a way, but I still think you're going to have developmental production constraints either way. It's either going to be a couple months late or a couple months early.
It'll be a couple of months. Like, it's not crazy or anything. I just think I know what James Gunn is trying to do. I really do know what he's trying to do. So but what was I going to say? Dave said Rocksteady should adapt the unmade Affleck movie into a video game. They're not going to do that, Dave.
No. It does
Brothers,
have no.
See, the one good thing about what Marvel did right was the Ultimate Spider-Man stuff.
The original Ultimates or what they're doing right now?
Yeah. Like, you know, like the Ultimate Spider-Man video game from 2004, that was a perfect adaptation, right?
I see. Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
But WB doesn't think like, oh, maybe take inspiration. For example, New 52 or Kingdom Come, or let's say a Justice League game based off a comic or Superman comic. They're not going to do that. That's the problem Warner Brothers has right now. Because they don't really think outside the box. Their money making right now is Batman. And that's the only thing that they're worried right now. That's why they're asking Rocksteady to go back and do single player games to basically say, okay, Rocksteady, we want you to pivot back to Arkham and pivot back to what you know best, which is Arkham, which is Batman Arkham. They know that they make good games, right? That's the thing. Marvel, on the other hand, know what they're doing when it comes down to storytelling because they gamble and they know how to, and it pays off, right? Place in point, Marvel Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, all of those stories paid off big time. They were up for nominations and everything. The thing is, they didn't win the nomination compared to Rocksteady when they won Game of the Year multiple times. I'm just saying, DC is outsourced. Well, not outsourced. DC is actually one up over Marvel when it comes down to Game Awards. Yeah, and yes, we are getting a blame. WB is so unstable. We don't know what they're doing tomorrow if they will solo. Dave, that is true. We don't know.
There's a point to that.
There is a point to that. But the thing is, what Warner Brothers Gaming division will do is they will pivot back to the single player game because they know that it's a moneymaker. They know that because they tried the live service and it backfired big time. That's what they're pivoting, asking developers to make single player games now because they know that live service isn't the way to go forward. And I'm sure they're gonna the next earning call or whatever, they're gonna talk about the Wonder Woman game and they're gonna be extensive about it and praising it and everything. And watch, that game is gonna do so well because it's made by Monolith Productions. and the people who made the Shadow of War and the Shadow of Mordor game, and they know how to do a storytelling game, and they know how to make a single player game worthwhile, right?
Right.
Compared to, let's say, multiplayer games, that ain't doing so well. Like, for example, Suicide Squad. They would say they was going to make $1 billion or whatever, same like Hogwarts Legacy numbers. It didn't do that, right?
No, it did not.
That's why I'm saying, guys, that what I'm covering on my channel, like, because I am covering a lot of this stuff on my channel, I'm literally word for word, I'm literally saying to W, like, I'm literally covering what Warner Brothers is stating. And obviously, I didn't cover the news for the Wonder Woman news leak or whatever, right?
Right. Do you think
No,
Rocksteady?
no, they are giving another chance. They are being given another chance. That's a fact.
Okay. Okay.
And it's a single player game. Dave, I can confirm that for you. It's a single player game. That's what they're pitching for. It's a single player story driven game. They're not going to do another multiplayer. There's no way that they're gonna shut down Rocksteady because there's so much that they have to offer, right? That's the first thing, and the second thing is if the single player doesn't work out for them, they'll be turned into a support studio. That's the way it will be.
More than likely.
Which I'm curious if that the sale will affect James Gunn's plan with the video game tie-in. No, it won't. Anything that's under the DC Studios brand won't get affected.
More than likely, it won't.
It won't. No. Because how do I know this? Because I've been in the gaming business. Like, I've been doing video games journalism. Like, I'm not a games journalist like everybody else is, like Jez Gordon and all those people, but I have been looking this stuff up myself and learning about this stuff. So I know quite a bit about it and how things tend to work out for developers and studios, right?
Right.
No, yeah, David Zaslav controls Warner Brothers Discovery, but he's not in charge of DC Studios. James Gunn oversees it. He's the DC Studio CEO. The CEO is James Gunn. David Zaslav is his head, but David Zaslav doesn't really know anything about video games. That's what you got to realize. I think he's getting bored.
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm just observing, trying to observe the chat. Zaslav is the head CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery. He has final say of any commercial decisions. And although I will give this to him, I will give Zaslav this. Shelving and writing the tax write-off on Batgirl was probably a solid idea from all the behind the scenes in the movie division at the time.
Yeah.
Shelving Batgirl was a good business move. I will not take that away from the man. But at the same time, he is not really invested. He's just a business conglomerate, business CEO who got finessed and hustled by Emmerich and is making the best out of a bad situation. Logistically, we got to look at this from business. Go ahead.
He should have as soon as he got in the office, tax write-off Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League.
I agree.
He should have tax write that game off, right? As soon as it got announced, right?
Because that game was in development hell for 7 years. It was basically the video game version of the Flash movie. You easily could have gotten away with that.
Yes, I do trust them to make another single player game. Because I know that the single player division, yes, it's not going to be the same Rocksteady as we know from the past.
Oh, no. Not even the same people are in charge anymore.
But it'll be different. Yes, it'll be different. But at least, I'm giving them a chance, and I trust them enough to say, look, they can do another single player game. But the way I see it is Zaslav should have tax write off Suicide Squad, right?
Cut your losses.
Cut your losses before it's too late, right? I don't care whether the game has been in so much development, just cancel it, right? It doesn't
I
matter if
agree.
it's because, like, yes, you announced the game. What you could have done is silently canceled it without
Shelved
anybody
it
knowing.
indefinitely. No one had to know the official story.
Nobody had to know the official story, and that would have saved that time. And then everyone could be like, okay, well, what can we do for the next year or two? People can be excited for the Wonder Woman game, right? Just
Right.
saying, people would be more excited for that than them saying, okay, but we got Suicide Squad and it's a dud, right? Because that's what's happened now.
And I
Suicide
will
Squad,
play devil's advocate on this. I know I'm defending a god awful game, but hear me out.
Mhm.
This game was going to be rated bad regardless, even with it being connected to the Arkhamverse as a sequel to Arkham Knight, even with, respectfully, Kevin Conroy's passing. This game would have bombed regardless. Those two aspects just rub salt in the bloody wound. The nostalgia factor alone would have
Tevye
derailed this game.
and Tevye, to answer your question, it's not only Sweet Baby Ink's fault. This falls in the hands of Jamie Walker and Sefton Hill, the two people directly, you know, directly have said, oh, we wanted to make a one second.
Take your time, Taladia. But at the end of the day, there's a good chance. Now, granted, this is just my personal opinion. This is a Blaze hot take, so take it for what you will. But more than likely, Zaslav is looking to sell off the DC and Warner Brothers again. He got hustled by Emmerich. He made the best out of a bad situation logistically. And he's trying to cut his losses. If any hints or business dealings from the past 2.5 years tells you anything, he's looking to sell if he can get a buyer, if he can get a deal. If he can get a deal, he'll take it. And that's just the type of businessman Zaslav is. Now, will I say this will completely implode the DCU? No, Superman Legacy is too far along. It's gonna come out, and regardless of who in charge, its performance will say something. Do we give this DC reboot another shot, or do we just stick to standalone titles for a few years till the ire, and especially with the MCU on a collapse of mediocrity? So you just have multiple factors to consider in that aspect. Now, Creature Commando, that's a Max exclusive TV show. No one's really going to care about that logistically, let's be honest. But Superman Legacy is going to be a telltale sign, if anything. I will 100% state that. If I am wrong, I will gladly come on back on the show and eat crow. I'll
say this, right? Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, the way it should have been handled is a tax write-off immediately.
I agree. Arguably Universal. Universal would be one of the higher candidates. Universal or Comcast. Those are the top two candidates in my mind.
But yeah, just to refer back to what I was stating about Sweet Baby Inc. and all of that.
Of course.
Jamie Walker and Sefton Hill were the people that basically said, oh, well, we're making they pivot from one game to a different game. And here's the thing. Here's the kicker for you guys. In the article, they were given the IP for Suicide Squad after WB Montreal couldn't get it right.
That's redistribution of assets.
That's redistribution of assets. That's why we got the Suicide Squad game from Rocksteady, then WB Montreal, right?
Right.
And that's saying something.
That is true. Now, I know people want to throw shade at Sweet Baby Inc. and everything going on with the stream controversy a few months back, but that's only a subtext in what goes on overall in the industry. What happened with Suicide Squad? Now, this is for Suicide Squad specifically. I don't know about other titles like Gotham Knights or anything like that. This is strictly for Suicide Squad. It was redistribution of assets after the game was not compatible with the Unreal Engine, at least to my knowledge. Please feel free to correct me.
Okay, so I can tell you this, but I can tell you this. Let me clarify before you.
Oh, go ahead, please.
So the Suicide Squad game didn't go ahead at WB Montreal because of the fact that the Arkham Engine wasn't compatible. That's why they redistributed the IP to Rocksteady and Sefton Hill and Jamie Walker took up the chance to make the game. But the problem is they was in developmental hell because they weren't listening to the team. Like months on end, they weren't getting response. Like so, the
Feedback.
developers feedback from the developers. So the developers were making stuff, giving it to the higher ups, and never got response back from the higher ups. It took them months on end before we got before they got response, and that was in the Bloomberg article, if you remember that, Tevia. So that's what I'm saying. Is like the way things are going to go now. It's going to go completely different, and they're going to focus. They're going to focus on single player games. I think I said this in a video, my members video, like why Warner Brothers needs to focus on single player story driven games, and that's basically that's why I basically said that in my members video. But if you aren't a member, make sure you guys hit them, become a member on my channel, because you get to see exclusive videos and controversial videos that I talk about.
Highly
Trust
recommend.
me.
Highly recommend. Less than $5 a month.
Yeah, literally. Yep, it's basically this game was doomed for failure from the start. Yeah, pretty much.
Logistically, yes.
The game was failed to doom because not because of what Kevin Conroy and whatnot, not because of that.
No.
It's because of it was the looter shooter based game, and nobody really wanted a looter shooter based game. That's the first thing. The second thing is the fact that the developers did not know they would know what exactly what they wanted for the game. They changed their mind like
I'm a
air,
dime.
like air from cold to hot, basically, right?
Right.
So,
And I believe Gotham Knights was in a similar situation. At least not so much behind the scenes, but in terms of production, being production hell. Because that game also got delayed due to the pandemic. So there were some factors on that front.
yeah.
If my information is credible, Taladia, would you confirm or comment on that?
1 second. Give me 1 second. What were you
Sure.
saying? Sorry.
I was saying that Gotham Knights was in a similar situation with their production cycle. No?
No.
Okay.
Gotham Knights was completely different. Gotham Knights was actually in development from, I would say, 2017, 2018. They just pivot from the Damian Wayne game to make it a team-based game, right? And it was about a year thing. But the thing was, they had a team already set and ready to go. Rocksteady, on the other hand, had developmental hell for 9 years, and people were leaving the studios as soon as they're joining the studio.
Okay. Thank you for clearing that up for me, Taladia. Thank you.
No, yeah, and nobody wanted to kill the Justice League members because they wanted to play as the Justice League. That's what the problem is, right?
And we've had stories before where the Justice League and Suicide Squad team up. This was an easy workaround. You could have either had duplicates or robot clones, albeit contrived, mind you. But you could have come up with a scenario like, hey, they're captured. Let's team up to take Brainiac down. This game, with the actual script for the story mode, with some tweaks or a second draft, could have been salvaged. The story mode could have been decent. Now, the looter shooter RPG stuff would have to be completely overhauled. But the story mode was salvageable with a second rewrite. I will say that. I will very much say that. Because this easily just
Dave, here's the thing. This was Sefton Hill's problem.
Redistribution of assets, development hell for the latter half of a decade. There were so many other external factors in Rocksteady or Sweet Baby Inc. alone. There were so many other factors.
This isn't the problem where the studio is right now. This is like because they've turned the studio into support studio now, and they're helping out Avalanche with the Hogwarts Legacy game for the Hogwarts Legacy Director's Cut. But they're being given a chance to make a single player game because they know, Warner Brothers know that they make tons of money for a single player game, and they'll pivot to that. And that's why I'm saying they're going to pivot back to Batman. They're going to make a Batman game more than anything. They're not going to do, we're going to make another, let's say, for example, do a Flash game or a Superman game. They're not going to do that because Why would they risk it? It's too much of a gamble for them. WB Montreal, on the other hand, has a lot riding on this next game because technically they made their money back for Gotham Knights. Technically they did. Review wise, they didn't, but they made the sales. They made the sales money back. That's why they were able to make another game.
Sales wise, they broke even if the game was critically panned. But logistically, they made their
Yes.
money back.
Yes, Tevya. This is the reason why Sefton Hill and Jamie Walker left the studio, because the fact is they're the one who came up with this game, and they knew the fact that this game was going to flop, and they didn't want it to fall on his hands. They didn't want to have the responsibility fall on their hands and everyone bashing on them. And I knew from the get-go, I was like, well, not the get-go. I kind of knew when I played the game.
You caught on.
I caught on to the fact that, something's not right about this game, right? And the fact that the story was short, the fact that the characters, for example, them, killing off Wonder Woman didn't make any sense, right?
Right.
And the fact that they kind of screwed over the fans with the death of Kevin Conroy's Batman.
Poor timing. Just poor timing.
Poor timing, especially considering the fact that Kevin Conroy literally passed away like a year in advance. So it's like a year before. So it's like there's a lot of things that Sefton Hill did wrong, right? If I was in Rocksteady's shoes about 9 years ago, I would have said, look, forget the Suicide Squad IP, is not going to catch on.
Nope.
Right? Yes, even if with the success of the Suicide Squad 2016 film and the 2021 film, I would have said, no, let's do something else. Let's do Superman. Let's do Justice League. Let's capitalize on those IPs. Get those IPs out there, because people would want that. People have been demanding for a Superman game. People have been demanding for a Justice League game. Let's get one of those IPs out there. At least people then can say, okay, we got the gaming branding to save hands. Right? And yes,
I have not seen the design myself, but I have heard about it, Dave. But I have heard about it.
It's Mrs. Freeze, not Mr. Freeze, and it's not a gender swap.
So it's Nora. You just said it. It's Nora. Okay, thank you.
I think it's Nora Freeze.
Okay, because they did.
And Dave, if you watch my live stream with Miller Ross, he explains all of that in detail, which I'll highly recommend you guys checking out. But the way I see it is, if I was in Warner Brothers' shoes right now, they need. Yeah, I get that, Tevia, but they need to finish what they started, Tevia. They need to. I'm sorry, but they have to finish what they started. They can't just leave it half that baked, right? Can I swear?
Go ahead, man. I'm not Jared from Comics League. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna leave it half. They can't leave it half-ass baked, right? And say, okay, well, we'll stop it here and now, right? When you plan something for a full year's worth of content, and you're already halfway through those content anyway, right?
Right.
And the fact is, after that year's content, then they'll shut it down. Then that works. You see, this is why I'm saying this right now. This is why I think at Gamescom we probably will get the Wonder Woman game. At the trailer at Gamescom. I think that either it'll be Gamescom or the Game Awards, and they'll start promoting it then. Gail Simone made a tweet about the game, and she says, I'll be more focused on the game than talking about it, really, right? And I literally said that. So
you've made some great points here, Talati, but I feel like in general, at the end of the day, a lot of this just boils down from mismanagement of IPs, clashing egos, because we're still, at least in terms of business to consumer fan base and consumer interaction, we're still recovering from the infighting and civil war from the previous regime of Warner Media and Warner Brothers prior to the Discovery merger. We're still logistically recovering from that.
Yes, but like I said though, Jay, it's not one of those things that Warner Brothers will be like, why don't we make you know a straight up Justice League game after Suicide Squad? No, they're not going to do that because they need to win the trust of the fans back yet. And here's the thing: the Wonder Woman game will turn things around. I'll tell you that now. The Wonder Woman game will turn things around, and it will gain WB's trust because they say, okay, well, we put a faith in a studio that knows what they're doing, right?
Right.
Same thing can be, that's what I'm saying. Like Rocksteady single player games, they do really well. Story, especially story driven games, especially like Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, those were made by people who knew the comics. You had Paul Dini work on these, right? If
Right.
if I was Rocksteady, I would ask Paul Dini to come back. Maybe do a Justice League game if I was in their shoes, right? A single player, story driven Justice League game.
Hold on. Talati, you mind checking the Comics League private chat on X right quick?
What's happened?
Because I think Phoenix Press posted something on an article, a Reddit article. But while he's looking into,
that's false.
oh, okay,
That's false.
But I just wanted to go ahead and go into our final thoughts for the night. But final thoughts: Budokai Tenkaichi 4 or Sparking Zero. It has potential. This game is going to sell gangbusters, especially with the graphics, the animation, the shading. It's going to have some momentum behind it. Don't get me wrong. There are a few mechanic issues that might need to be worked out, especially with health and online mode. But otherwise, it's going to be a pretty solid game if handled correctly.
And me and Jay are going to do a one-on-one battle on stream. That is going to happen, right? Myself, I already decided who I'm going to pick, and I've already got a team set and ready to go to fight you, Jay. We'll see.
Win.
Dave says we'll see. There's plenty of opportunity for WB to screw up the Wonder Woman game. I doubt that. I doubt that because if they're already stated that the Wonder Woman game isn't going to have live service elements in the game, then that they mean that, right?
Right.
And the fact is that I got full faith in Monolith anyway because I know they make great games. So, and they've won Game of the Year, on different platforms. So, but anyway, my final thoughts on Budokai Sparking Zero. I think that this game is going to knock it out of the park and it's probably going to win fighting game of the year, right?
Right.
Yes, there will be a local split screen versus mode. Yes, confirmed. That's confirmed. That's confirmed to have a split screen, so you and your brother Jay Heat can play against each other. I'm just saying, I can just imagine Kid Takeoff being Goku Black and Zamasu.
I could easily see it. I
can just see it now, right? I can just see him streaming that. But guys, this has been like one great stream just to have a discussion about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero and also talk about DC stuff too, but mainly Dragon Ball Sparking Zero for the first half of the stream because I think not many content creators out there do like a podcast like this where we strictly talk about Dragon Ball. And
not that I've seen.
And they interact with you guys and to do like an interactive stream. Like nobody really does that type of thing. Only on here, which is on Jay Heat's channel, where we literally interact with you guys and have an opportunity where you guys have to say something in regards to Dragon Ball. And this is why Blazing Shonen became a thing because we literally said, look, why don't we make a show? We talk about Dragon Ball, and this is what it is. And before we wrap up and everything, I'll say this. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, if you pre-order it now, you'll get 3 days early access. So it won't be on the 11th. You'll get it on the 7th if you order the Ultimate or the Deluxe Edition.
Sounds awesome. Now, again, I did take a couple weeks off due to graduation, but I was given some fan requests slash questions. I know it's late on your end given the time zone difference, Saladia, but I'm only going to
Yeah.
go through a few of these, and
Go
some of
ahead.
these are for you as well. So, once again, these are strictly anonymous. But if you do have a request of your own you want to send me, either DM me on Twitter/X or comment on a YouTube video, and I will give you a shout out. So the first question is for Taladia. What is your feelings on Captain America 1940, and what do you think the next year and a half of Marvel will be with the MCU's decline, in your opinion?
So Marvel 1940, is that the video game you're
Yes,
talking
that is
about?
the Captain America video game. Yes.
I think that's going to be a success, without a shadow of a doubt. It's done by Amy Hennig, who did Uncharted, and she's done pretty good games. She literally knows how to tell a story. So I think there's going to be a success. Now, in regards to the MCU, it's in limbo. The Blade movie has been bouncing back and forth, and there hasn't been like any news on any of the newer projects like Spider-Man 4, for example. There's nothing on that. And a lot of people have been asking, what's the state of MCU? And I think it's in really bad shape right now. That's what I've got to say about that.
Understandable. Very solid take, Taladia. Very solid take. The second question is for me. What are your feelings about the current DC animation content, such as Harley Quinn season 5 or the My Adventures of Superman? It's such a watered down show with Lois as the POV. Nothing against character development, but an older, more established Lois akin to Superman the Animated Series, or at least it'd be a bit more bearable rather than a post-adolescent child ranting and moping every 5 minutes. First off, a lot of that is Lois as a character in general, so I have to openly admit that. And second, I get where you're coming from. It's very stale, even stereotypical levels of surface level anime or hello, how do you do, fellow kids meme. I get where you're coming from. But at least in my opinion, this is a leftover project from before the Discovery merger, and this is likely just going to get 3 seasons tops. It may work for you, it may not, but it'll be a decent ride and good content all the same, at least in my mind. Taladia, what do you think?
1 second.
And while we're waiting on Taladia's response, I'll go ahead and respond on the other half of the question. I'm not really going to cover the Harley Quinn animated series. It's just a personal decision of mine because after the season 4 and Valentine's Day special, I'm just like, this is just too raunchy for me. And especially now that I'm going into my professional career, this is just too raunchy for my taste and my brand. And I might do like a simple review of it in general, but I won't do any direct reactions to it or anything like that. And
Okay.
I'll go in.
Okay.
But I will watch Kite Man. I will at least give the Kite Man spinoff a shot because Kite Man carried the first 2 seasons. I cannot take that from him.
So what were you going to ask me?
Basically, how do you feel about these current DC animated shows compared to what we got with like the DCAU and the DCAMU? Basically, My Adventures of Superman, Harley Quinn, the animated series.
I think My Adventure with Superman is picking up like momentum. Yeah, okay. I would say. It's got a season 3 regardless. Obviously, I really wish they renewed Young Justice, in my opinion, because that would have been really cool. I've got low expectations for the Cape Crusader, to be honest with you. I'm not going in as high expectations because
me neither on that.
Because the design for Harley Quinn.
I get you want to branch her off of the Joker. I really understand that aspect, but either save Harley for a second season or have her,
but her design is really off-putting.
Hold on, let me take a look at this. Hold on, I'm just keep talking, Toddy. I'm
Yeah,
just gonna look this
yellow
up real
and
quick.
green. It's yellow and green. Her jester outfit, and it's not red and it's not
Red and
red
blue.
and it's not red and black. Yeah, and
Okay,
her
why does this look like a Robin costume?
exactly.
Like I'm looking, I'm not going to screen share it for obvious reasons, but this is literally just a Robin aesthetic. Like, did the showrunners just go out of their way not to have a Robin this iteration, but they kind of felt compelled to have it anyway?
And you know what makes things worse is the fact that it's not a blonde Harley Quinn. It's actually a Chinese Harley Quinn. Look that
No
up.
comment. No
Look
comment.
look that no look it up. Search it up. Harley Quinn, Cape Crusader, or Harley Quinzel, Cape Crusader, right? And you'll see what I mean.
I see what you mean. I'm looking at it right now.
Not the same, is it?
Nope. This easily could have been the original character. Heck, this could have been an adaptation of Punchline. Granted, a skewed version, but it's a similar aesthetic.
Yeah.
I just feel like an original character would have fit this mold a lot better rather than just trying to pull lightning strikes twice in a bottle. Lightning
So
in a
what's
bottle.
the so what's the next question?
Okay, because we could rant about that all night. Next question is: even though the Young Justice revival was originally commissioned for three seasons, 3, 4, and 5, sometime around 2019, 2020, it was downgraded to season 2. It was downgraded to 2 with Outsiders and Phantoms. Make it long story short, why do you feel the season 5 will not get renewed, regardless of Greg Weisman's falling out with DC?
It's basically because Warner Brothers is cutting down money wise, and they don't want to put money into things. That's the simple fact.
That's the
Even though
simplest answer. That's the simplest answer.
that's the simplest answer we can give. What's the next question?
Next question is, hold on, that one's Dragon Ball related. We covered a lot. We basically covered that. We covered that. Oh, okay, this one. Why do you believe the DCU will not gain momentum? I know it's an easy joke to dig around, but especially with all the hashtag sell Snyderverse to Netflix and all the recent internet discord, why do you honestly believe the DCU will crash and burn?
To be honest with you, I'm giving the DCU a chance. If the Superman movie trailer blows my socks off, then I'll be the first one to say, "Oh wow, great! This was a great trailer." If it doesn't to blow my socks off, I'll be the first one to say, "James Gunn, you have failed this city.
Nice Arrow reference.
You have failed the city and you have failed the universe." And this would be it for James Gunn.
Yeah, I would not give him a song after this. As for me, like I said, even in my angsty teenage years, I wasn't the biggest fan of the DCEU, but I respected Snyder's vision, especially as more information came out about his falling out with DC and the tragic death of his stepdaughter. The whole thing was a sleazy situation. Snyder and his family did not deserve to go through that. And I'm just glad he got a chance to finish his story, even if it was a director's cut. So
Dave, no. Just no. Don't go there, Dave. I know what you're trying to do. Don't go there.
God dang it, Dave. You're going to get me demonetized one of these days.
Don't go there, man.
I was waiting for it, too. Like, he's going to say something outrageous towards the end of the stream. I just know it.
I just know it, yeah. Anyway, what's the next question?
Okay, this is the last one we're covering for the night.
Make it a good one.
All right.
Actually, let's make a few more then.
Oh, sure. We can cover a few more. Okay, this one's more straightforward. Other than the memes, there's not really too much to Lois's personality, other than the larger ensemble of Superman's family. In recent years, they try to make Lois grander than what she actually is. Hashtag Pika Shades or hashtag Comics League. Why do you discernibly hate Lois, and is she a redundant character?
She's a redundant character because she's boring.
Now, there are multiple ways you can go about this. Now, to spare yourself a history lesson on media literacy and nuance, ultimately, there's not really much Lois brings to the table. I mean, Clark is an accomplished reporter in his own right. Even there is a conflict of interest of him, well, saving the day and covering stories about himself. If Peter Parker can get away with it, so can Superman. But that's besides the point. But in terms of her being boring, I'm not going to so much say that because she's been established for decades. It's only so much. There's not really so much you can do outside of her being a damsel or an emotional support. Lois does not have a stronger role outside of that. Like, she doesn't really nag at Clark. She doesn't really. The banter's there, the will they, won't they. Even in the Lois and Clark TV show, a lot of that was the will they, won't they. But once they get together, the show kind of falls off because you lose that emotional investment. You already got the payoff, and the show went on way too long. The only way you could quote unquote make Lois interesting is if you really make the relationship a dichotomy of the superhero mentality and the pressure of a superhuman relationship, which is what My Adventure Superman was trying to do, even if I don't think they executed it the best, or just outright be an established setting where the two are already together and she's just there to, well, be a support to Superman while helping him with cases, having Lois play an active role in uncovering the truth and stopping these villains and criminals. Maybe not so much be in the actual fight against villains themselves, but play a role. Does that make sense to Ladia?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than just being a damsel 24/7. Superman the Animated Series tried to do this, even though they didn't really balance it the best, since, again, Lois was a damsel more often than not. And the closest we got to any direct nuance from that version of Lois Lane was the world's finest episode, two-parter, which was, let's be honest, a glorified dogfight between the two. So Lois didn't really even have that much of agency in that two-parter. But it was the first interaction of Superman and Batman and the expansion of the DCAU in general.
It was.
Except for the Superman Lois TV show, which shocked Superman Lois's parents, their John Work.
Here we go. No.
Outlier, exception to the rule, Tevia. I see where you're going with this, but that is a pure outlier, and that's because Superman and Lois is an ensemble show. They had to do that.
Anyway, let's do a couple more, then we're going to call it wrap it up.
Okay. Next one is, what was your opinion on X-Men 97 versus The Young Justice, and which revival was more successful / entertaining in your opinions?
In my opinion, X-Men 97. This is coming from a DC guy, right? Nostalgia.
This was close. Nostalgia played a factor in both shows. Nostalgia did play a factor. Too soon, Dave. Too soon.
Anyway, X-Men 97 for me was more amazing than, I would say, Young Justice, right?
Right.
I just felt like with X-Men 97, you're back to the 90s. Young Justice, they kind of went forward in time, right? And there was nostalgia, but it wasn't as impactful compared to X-Men 97, where it's impactful. You got the original cast coming back. You've got, all of that stuff, right? Plus, as well, there was hidden Easter eggs that leads to potential other spin-off, revival series.
It does. And I will say this about Young Justice. Say what you will about Phantoms being a return to form with the original cast, but the Rocket arc was pure filler. Rocket didn't even join in the context of season 1. She may have joined in the tie-in comics, but by season 2, she's already established as an extended member. So there was really no reason for Rocket to get an arc because she wasn't an original member by the time the season wrapped up. At least from what I'm remembering. I'm glad she got an arc, but compared to the larger story of season 4, it was technically filler in the grand scheme of things. But that tangent aside, X-Men 97 is the more successful out of the two revivals. I will openly admit that. But sorry, I couldn't get over the whole Magneto, Rogue, Gambit love triangle. Why even bring that in there? I get you didn't want Logan and Scott duking out over Jean, and God forbid Krakoa. I don't want 97 anywhere near the Krakoa saga. But Silver Fox Magneto, gee, Lord have mercy. Even, I'm I'm sorry. I just couldn't get through that. Hey, Rocket Art gave us New Genesis. Yeah, I have nothing against the New Genesis and the space expansion. I just feel like if you're going to do world building, that we could have had a different focus / POV character. That's just my opinion, because Rocket is from Milestone, and Milestone is usually more grounded most of the time. You could get away with Rocket, especially with the social commentary from that arc. You could get away with it, but there were better choices. There were better choices to consider as your POV character. There were better choices. Let's be honest. But again, like Taladia said, X-Men 97 is the ultimately performed better, is the better of the two. But Young Justice just kind of fumbled the bag towards the end, and especially after they found out they weren't going to get that third season that was originally agreed upon due to cutbacks. So they tried to rush everything in season 4, as much emotional payoffs as they could, with only 2 tie-in comics. One was a one-shot, and the other was a mini-series. So I just feel like Young Justice didn't have the most confidence going in, whereas X-Men 97 was given relative free reign because Disney has been in a downpour stock-wise the past couple of months. Would you agree, Taladia?
I agree.
The Rocket story with understanding Orion because of her autistic son was great, and I'm not refuting that. Again, I just feel like we could have gotten a different POV character than Rocket for that arc. Now, granted, that's a great subplot in the arc itself. I just having a grounded character going in space or power cosmic, there's a way to go about that, if not handled correctly, completely breaks the immersion or illusion of what's going on. Maybe with a bit more time, a bit more interaction with Rocket and her son, or maybe a more direct connotation of Orion being the son of Darkseid and the stigma he feels because of it by the New Genesis, regardless of the truce that was made by the 2 planets. We could have gotten more into that segregation and that discrimination Orion feels and why he's so standoffish. As is, you're supposed to know either from other media or from the comics to where, Orion's the son of Darkseid. There was this political power pact to broker peace between the 2 planets, and Orion's been stigmatized, albeit passive-aggressively, ever since. You're supposed to already know, and then Rocket all of a sudden can relate that to her autistic son because of that, even though we've never seen that. Orion is an accomplished warrior defending New Genesis and even the wider galaxy on occasion. And although that resentment is there, we don't directly see it. It's purely a case of show, not tell. That's what my larger point is. And speaking of Marvel, how do you feel about Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man show getting a release date? Honestly, I prefer Spider-Man 98. I mean, you've already teased a potential revival. This is clearly a year 1 MCU Peter Parker show. I mean, if you really compare the two, people are going to want Spider-Man 98 revival more, especially after X-Men 97's momentum. So I just feel like you're going to have more success writing off that than a Tom Holland Peter Parker prequel or Iron Boy prequel, if I'm being honest. But Talati, anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
I'll say this. There's a lot riding on there's a lot happening right now at DC and Marvel and all of that stuff. But expect more blazing shonen soon. I would expect if we get a demo and it's online co-op, myself and Jay Heat will live stream that on our Twitch page. So that is something we want to say. That is only if there's a demo. Do you mind if I do our outros?
Sure, go ahead. Whatever you got coming up or would you like to promote for the channel, go on ahead.
Okay, might as well get rid of the banner, by the way.
Sure.
All right. So you can follow me on Twitter at @LargerPlays_. That's where you guys can find me. Where I post everything DC, Marvel, all that stuff. On my YouTube page tomorrow, we're doing Snyder Fans Read Comics. Normally it's on a Wednesday, but we had to reschedule it for tomorrow. So that's myself and Jared talking about New 52 Justice League, and Jay Heat possibly will be joining us for that. Also, I will be doing a stream with Axel Droger, who did the fan film for Red Robin. We're gonna have him on MME, so I'm gonna be doing a stream with him. Hopefully tomorrow. We're just gonna tomorrow evening, Wednesday morning. That's the type of thing I'm gonna be doing on MME. Also, I will be doing under two. I think it's under 2Capes this week. I'm not sure. And also moving out is Blue Beetle, so we'll be on Jared's channel. On my channel, of course, there will be more content and more gaming streams. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna try and fit a Twitch stream in this week. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I've got like multiverses maybe, or Marvel Rivals, some Marvel Rivals talking or whatever. It'll be something anyway, regardless. Sometime this week, and I'll also be doing. I was gonna do the Wonder Woman game, update, but I can't do that anymore. So that's planned out the window. But I will be doing a Q&A session with you guys on my Twitch page, on my YouTube page. But we just chill, relax, and we just have a Q&A session. I might do that over the weekend, so I'll let you guys know. But that's what I've got coming up on my channel. Jay fan, thanks for doing this again. This collab has just been great.
No problem, man. But I really appreciate. You're always welcome on the show. You're a valued friend, my best friend, and a valued co-host, and it's always an honor to work with you and the Comics League brand. But as for me, my Decamu retrospective, I'll admit, was pushed back due to my graduation and starting my new job. So although you'll be seeing a lot more pre-recorded content rather than live streams, so I'll go ahead and disclose that now. So my Decamu retrospective, that's going to end up being pre-recorded. That should premiere within the next few days. I had to push that back due to work. As well as my Damian Wayne retrospective, that's almost done. And of course, I have a new Direction Verse idea with Jared and Taladia in the works as well. So be on the lookout for those. And be sure to pay attention to my Twitch, jheat751, where you can get early access and content of my playthroughs before they end up on YouTube. So right now I've already finished the Mass Effect trilogy. If you want to go ahead and catch up before they're wiped from the Twitch servers on my account, you can go ahead and check out the more recent ones before they end up on YouTube. And you can also check out my Dragon Age. And I even checked out Mass Effect Andromeda because I heard rumors of a new Mass Effect game coming out. And hey, I might as well, ride the Mass Effect train a little bit longer. And I already graduated my master's degree. It's related to my degree in social work, so I'm not going to go into too much detail on that. But I appreciate the curiosity, Dave the Impaler. I really do. And maybe during a subscription milestone, if I'm fan requested, I will go into more detail on that. But for right now, I'm enjoying my new job and a little bit more free time other than being buried in paperwork or research paper or homework. So thanks again, everyone. But again,
there will be more like Blazing Shonen coming soon. We'll let you guys know updates via our Twitter or via our Discord or whatever. We will let you guys know through that. So,
but with that long tangent aside, if y'all can get me to 300 subscribers, we're at 240 right now. But if y'all can get me to 300 subscribers before the end of the year, I will review both seasons of Velma in one go, reaction and all. So if you want me to watch that show, just like, comment, subscribe. But with that being said, like, comment, subscribe, everyone. Taladia, you've been a great co-host. Thank you for coming on. Like, comment, subscribe. Flame off.